speaking of bitch, time to go over the latest Theory of a Deadman album. That's Mark Koslick. Theory of a Deadman album. Say nothing.
This was one of the most enjoyable albums I've ever listened to, all for bad reasons. This is the true so bad it's good kind of album that we were talking about earlier a little bit. This album,
It's close. I'll give it that. It's close.
oh, but
here's the thing.
laughed my fucking ass off listening to this album.
I just don't think it has a grander place in a lot of things.
It doesn't have a place in the music industry as a whole, but in my fucking heart, this album has like a permanent spot right next to like The Room and fucking like.
I don't think it's that. I think you're overselling it.
No, there is so many things like this is like if you just listen to this album like straight, like just not really paying that much attention to it the way most people probably do, it's a pretty bad mediocre album. But the moment you like sit down and analyze every decision that they made, the more you realize this is a fundamentally broken in every aspect album in every way that makes it just funnier. From their weird decisions on like production, including a bunch of random high-pitched like vocals in the background on like fucking every track, to their random ass fucking switch ups in every album, to their attempts every track basically, to their weird attempts at grandeur that make no goddamn sense for albums that are fucking stupid, or tracks that are stupid. This whole album's stupid. Every album by Theory of a Deadman is pretty stupid.
Have you listened to them all?
Not all of them, but a shocking amount of them.
Oh, that's more than me.
Yeah. And like they're just really, they're dumb.
Okay. But so Theory of Deadman, Canadian post-grunge hard rock alternative rock band featuring Tana Colley on lead vocals and guitar, Dave Brenner on guitar, Dean Black on bass, and Joey D'Angelo. D'Angelo. I'm not going to pronounce his name right. He releases a bad album. Drums. On drums. They're signed to Chad Kroger's 604 Records. So that gives you...
Chad Kroger of Nickelback fame.
If that gives you any indication...
of the music Spider-Man soundtrack.
I actually like that Spider-Man song. That's probably his best song.
That's his best song. That's his best one because it's for Spider-Man.
It's not the pizza song.
No.
Spider-Man 2 pizza song.
That's the best Spider-Man song.
I know them from my childhood. I never listened to a full album. I know them from my childhood because they were in Fahrenheit and Indigo Prophecy, which I played as like 11, and it had the songs No Way Out and Santa Monica, which I think are they're passable bad pop rock tunes. I'm not gonna say they're good, but they're passably bad. They're fine. Mm-hmm. Also, they did music for WWE. They did a remix of the iconic Deadly Game theme from Survivor Series 1996, which is it's interesting. And they also did No Chance in Hell, which I actually kind of preferred to the original No Chance in Hell of Vince McMahon's theme.
But they also have such famous singles as I Hate My Life, which includes just basic complaining about literally everything without saying anything. Like, I hate my job, my boss is a dick. Like, okay, that doesn't... Okay. And then, like, I hate my wife, I hate that bitch. Just, like, stupid shit like that. And then you have Medicate, a track whose chorus is, I am so fucking bored, nothing to do with today. Guess I'll just sit around and medicate, which is about getting high. And then it has this great moment where he's just saying like everybody's high right now, the preacher's high right now, the president's high right now, just basically just listing random people saying high right now. And it's stupid. It's attempt at like this grand statement about how everybody in the world is just bored and high, but it comes across as fucking stupid.
So this is my idea. This is a me idea because I saw in the Metacritic list of upcoming albums. I'm like, yes, this is the trash I've been looking for. I didn't listen to any songs. I just knew it was gonna be bad. I was just really interested in seeing what this was gonna be.
Wait, this was your idea?
Yeah, it was.
This is more. I was the one who really pushed this.
I put it in the notes.
Yeah, I pushed this.
I was gonna skip it for the longest time just because we didn't.
I was pushing it,
but you were pushing it. I'll give you that. So originally it was my idea, which means I get all the praise.
You started the idea, but I really ensured that it. I ensured the follow.
Why is this album bad?
Every reason.
Well, it is literally the mashup of everything that has been terrible with pop rock in a similar manner to what Green Day did of the last decade. I'm talking about, you got some sounds that sound like they're from Train. You got your Imagine Dragons, but way less grandiose.
You have singing that sounds like it's an fucking American Idol audition. Like, I have demons. So I have been randomly just watching a bunch of like cringy American Idol compilations and like X Factor compilations because I get bored and I have demons. And there are fucking auditions on here that are like, they're bad auditions, but they do the same shit vocally that they're doing on this album a lot. Like weird pitch placements, weird like shifting of their vocals, weird like flows and deliverance of their like lyrics that like, it's very clear that like they don't have a backing track to guide them, but the difference is they do on this album. And so the fact that they can't even like stay with like a good rhythm doesn't make any goddamn sense.
So that's literally the vocals and the production are literally the first layer to this, the shitty 3-tier wedding cake.
No, there's a lot more tiers than 3.
I think basically because quintessentially
you get you have the basics of like their production and their vocals, like, oh, okay, these all are just bad sounding and cliched sounding. Then you get the second tier of their production, which is the fucking decisions of mashing these things together. Like you have in like Black Hole in Your Heart, like the big grandiose fucking violin, and then like randomly switching to like rock, then like weird like trap like shit with their fucking like hi-hats. You have History of Violence, which is this like basic grander wannabe larger than life fucking like rock ballad, and then you have his fucking like get high on yourself, you can barely breathe fucking delivery out of goddamn nowhere. You have fucking just everything in this album seems like it was calculated to be as bad as possible without turning into 93 punks, which are like that level of bad. Like it wants to be bad to where you can almost, if you're not paying attention, think it's passable. But then you actually focus on it and you're like, oh, wait a second. Everything here is wrong, incorrect on a fundamental level.
In my opinion, the second layer of the shitty 3-tier wedding cake is the lyricism just being cheesy. But wait, let me finish. But the last tier is what the lyricism actually tries to portray, and the fact that the cheesiness given in the performance in the actual written lyricism tries to be something more depthful. And that's the shitty wedding cake. The shitty Theory of a Deadman wedding cake.
There's a lot more
that I just want to smash, because I think those 3 basic tiers like are what carry this down, and you can add like a bunch of additional arches, but those are just splitting up the tiers.
It's just this album is it's a clusterfuck. It really is. And one thing I find hilarious, this album makes me laugh so goddamn hard when I listen to it.
Oh, it's cringy as beyond belief.
It's cringy as hell.
It's what I wanted from Hollywood Undead.
Yeah. But like this album's, I'm gonna just split. This album's a 0.
Oh yeah, it is. It's unfounded doubt.
I've been debating if I wanted to give this album a 0 or a -8 because I get the enjoyment factor out of this as I get like an 8 album, but for all the wrong reasons.
It's a big old 0.
It's a 0.
Like it's no.
But unlike Green Day's 0, where like it was just so mediocre and flawed that it just killed me inside.
But I also feel like it was a larger stance where one Green Day was at, one where the music industry is at. It's like one of those flawed things where it showcases a larger thing of what it is.
Yeah.
But it isn't like Green Day had that, but it wasn't like super noteworthy bad musically, like something like Logic making an indie album on Supermarket, Vic Mensa making a punk album with HR on 93 Punks,
some dude from Good Charlotte for some reason, and also the guitarist from fucking Rage Against the Machine.
Or like even like a Corey Feldman where it's like so notably bad that it becomes. I have a hard time giving this a essential atrocity. It has aspects. For me, I think it's funny and like enjoyably cringy at times, but I also think the sitting through it.
Oh, I've probably listened to this album a good like 6 times.
I fucking hate you. I've listened to it a big old one time and then I rewrote some notes.
No, I listened to this album. Here's literally how I listened to this album. I listened to like the first track on like the ride home.
Yeah, you
like,
told me the Rust story we talked
No,
about.
not at that time. I was talking like once I was actually going to review this album, like post that story. So I listened to this first track. I was driving home. I had listened to the entirety of the Hollywood Undead album, and I only had time for one more track, and this one was just next on the playlist. So I listened to it, and I was like, this is fucking hilarious. This is hilariously bad, because post Rust, this album is torture.
Yeah.
But like, post anything else that's not
Post any Rust is torture. Anything post Rust is torture.
Yeah, post literally anything that's like not so goddamn boring and wants me to fucking die. This album's fucking hilarious. So I listened to this song and I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is the pinnacle of just comedic songwriting.
In some ways, I'll give them this. They outdo Green Day with amalgamating so much, but like they gave it more effort unintentionally.
Unintentionally.
Billy Joel can.
But every time I
fathom.
listen to this album, I had to like listen from the very beginning, because I have to take in everything as much as I can in one setting. Because every time I re-listen to it, I hear a new detail that is just so fucking stupid and misguided that it makes me just laugh all over again.
I can understand that.
I listened to this album once all the way through, and I just immediately started it over again. Because this album just makes me fucking laugh so goddamn hard, and I get so much enjoyment out of this album for all of just the wrong reasons that I love it.
I'm so glad you. I dropped my phone. I don't need fucking notes. I don't give a fuck. The fact that you admitted on camera that you listened to it, enjoyed it so much that you listened to it again.
Because it's so bad. It's so hilarious.
I know. I'm just saying, this is where we're at. This may be the peak of your music critiquing career.
Yeah.
If you even critique, if you validate our opinions as critiques, this is the peak. This is it. This is it. I just want you to acknowledge that.
Let me put this. I have literally never listened. Dead Kennedys, favorite band of all time. Up there, like Shoo Shoo and Dead Kennedys are like constantly finding out for number one. I have never in my life for either of these bands listened to one of their albums and then immediately restarted it. Never. I have always taken a break, maybe listened to like a little bit of a different album, or just taken a general break in general and then going back. I did that with Forget. I listened to Forget, I took a break, then went back and replayed it. I've never even done that with my favorite album of all time, Trout Mask Replica. Because that's a fucking impossible album to do that with. It's just the way that album works. Doesn't matter though. This album is the only album in probably my entire life I have listened to and then immediately felt the need to restart it.
I think we need to get some actual critiques here. Are you ready?
No. This album doesn't deserve. Actually, it kind of does.
No, it doesn't. By critiques, I mean I want to actually read some of their words against them and describe some of these tracks.
Honestly,
because like
part of me wants to do that, and part of me wants to just say, go and listen to this on your own, because nothing I say will ever do justice for how fucking hilariously bad this album is.
I'm going to read them off anyway.
Okay, Vincent's doing it. I do not support this idea.
History of Violence is talking about domestic violence and Me Too movement, but it's completely detached from the factor that it's completely hilarious. Like, it just doesn't seem like it has any place to be talking about any of these issues.
Especially, and this is going to be one thing I say, especially when you just go a couple tracks later and you get the song Ted Bundy, which is a bizarre romanticization of like Ted Bundy and his murders. You cannot put those two tracks on the same album together, period, and expect people to not point that out. That's a ginormous breach of like major hypocrisy.
Affluenta says, at school they made fun of my clothes. Had a matching shirt and slacks. Yeah, mom made those rich kids smiling to ear. Catch them saying, smells like broken here.
Okay.
I'm getting paid, but it's hard to flex when you ain't got 4 zeros at the end of your checks. My dad worked hard for a roof overhead. He never got us gifts. He gave us love instead. But wait, I'm not done. Let me get to the point of why I'm saying this. We just buying things we can't afford and barely getting by. Should we thank the Lord for all the things we don't have? We're all so broke. Yeah, face the facts. This track's talking about poverty, the wealth disparity, and at the same time, it's done by probably a really wealthy white guy, or a very well-established white guy, who seems so disestablished. Like, even if he had past history of being poor, it makes what he's saying now seem so detached and hilariously cringy, and to the point where it's just so unremarkably just like, it has a good intention, but it completely doesn't understand that it should be saying what it is, and that's what makes it so hilarious.
And one thing I'm gonna bring up was like, "Smells Like Broken Here." If that's the worst thing people said to you in high school, congratulations. Like, you got out there fucking shockingly well. Like, Atlanta literally did an entire episode dedicated to the idea of how people treat people who are like poorer than them. And it really hit the nail on the head where like a kid was basically driven to suicide by it. And then your thing for like how bad it is "Smells Like Broken Here." I said worse things to that to people in high school as a joke, like not even like to be a bully, like just joking with friends.
Stranger says the left wing and right wing are flexing the fight, afraid to speak out when we know this ain't right. Our thoughts and our prayers, they don't help if we got them. Time to change it. We are all living like strangers. We aren't living like neighbors no more. No love, only anger. It is just such a detached, wants to be this huge ballad about how we should just come together, but it has no idea what any of the issues that are going on in the world are.
This is the most white liberal bullshit, white privileged ass liberal bullshit I've ever heard in my life. We're just like, if we were all kinder to everybody, everything be okay.
Quicksand is
What's institutionalized racism?
Quicksand is just the Shape of You ripoff. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to that. It just sounds like you took a shitty song by Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Someone who also seems detached from so much of society, and you isolated his isolation, his echo chamber. You replicated an echo chamber, and it's just completely. I don't know. I think it's hilarious. I think it's just so. Just a grab at modern music sense in trying to create something that would be a single, but it just fails in every regard.
It's terrible.
White Boy has the lyricism of "Ain't no singer, ain't no saint, just a white boy spitting slang. Ain't no problem, ain't no thing to cause me. We all the same. We ain't no different now. We all the same."
And that's a song that you learn literally right at the very beginning is about Charlottesville. And, neo-Nazis existing again, or well, not again, just being prevalent in like day-to-day life and politics again. And that's their great takedown of that issue is, ain't no, here's why this isn't no thing to you, because you're fucking white.
It's all good, Taz. It all started on a Saturday night. This is the closing track, by the way.
Yeah,
so after all the political trauma they've tried to unrest, this is how they close it. It all started on a Saturday night. We got to drinking, but we're talking. We're taking our time. A couple beers, and now I'm starting a fight. I'll keep this up. You'll have to drag me home. If I keep this up, you have to drag me home. I'm getting needy, and I'm calling you darling. You feel the same until your friends they come calling. If you need me, I'll be ASMRing.
That line's
I'm way
hilarious.
too faded to be hanging though, but it's all good. It's all good. The song's literally about the sentiment of just being super drunk and everything in the world's fine. It's just, but like there's been political turmoil. They've tried to unrest
from their weird ass privileged perspective.
And this is just like,
That's
it's all
note.
good.
You don't get to rip my note.
No, I'm ripping.
You don't get to rip my note.
I'm ripping.
Son of a
notes.
bitch.
I don't have anything else to say. I think this has gone too long.
This album,
it's hilariously bad.
If I wanted
honestly
to take the time and critique,
Jonathan, you win. This is a central atrocity. You get it. I don't.
I could literally spend more time than the actual length of this album explaining everything wrong with this album, because you would literally have to go like beat by beat through this album and explain it, because there's so many sudden changes that just make bad tracks worse. And there's so many weird decisions that just make no goddamn sense. Not just lyrically, which there's so much fucking going on wrong up there, but musically. The fact that in the fucking chorus of like the first one, when he says "great big black hole in your heart," you get this hype just going like over the fucking background for no goddamn reason, except for one of the choruses where it's not. And then you just have these random bits where there's just like high pitching. You have pretty sure it was Quicksand, where like the chorus of it, he just starts fucking going pitch shifting all over the place while he's trying to say the chorus, and it's terrible. There's so many bad decisions on this that aren't so fucking glaring like on the surface that you're just like, oh wow, this is a terrible album. You can tell it's a bad album just listening to it. You don't understand fully how bad it is until you truly devote yourself
You
to
have
the
to have a high
study.
Q to understand this.
You have to devote yourself to the studying of this album to understand just how truly
You gotta listen
horrendous
2
it
times
is.
back to back.
Maybe, to be honest.
No, because I got the gist.
It's a
I know this is bad.
This is a hilariously, beautifully awful album.
Keep in mind those scores if you're telling me this right now. At this current moment, I think this is a big 0. It is a large void in which Theory of Deadman throw their idea of what liberalism is, but have no like any idea of what it actually means or any sentiment actually behind it. So it just seems super detached. So it's a detached void of like an echo chamber.
This is a 0 in quality, but an 8 in entertainment. No, this is a fucking 10 in entertainment.
I don't think
I get 10 level album entertainment out of this, but it's a 0 in quality.
it's a essential atrocity.
This is the rare -10.